George Burns, commenting on preachers, said, "The secret of a good sermon is to have a good beginning and a good ending, and to have the two as close together as possible." I don't know about me, but in that sense, Mark's a good preacher. He has the shortest gospel. His ending is tied to his beginning. His conclusion leaves you wondering what will happen next. Mark tells us that Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of Jesus, and Salome went to the tomb. They worried about how they'll move the stone away. But when they get there, it's been rolled away. And a man dressed in white greets them. And he says to them, "Do not be alarmed. You are looking for Jesus of Nazareth, who was crucified. He has been raised. He is not here. Look, there is the place they laid him. But go, tell his disciples and Peter that he is going ahead of you to Galilee, and there you will see him, just as he told you." So they went out, and they fled from the tomb, for terror and amazement had seized them. And they said nothing to anyone, for they were afraid. For they were afraid. That's Mark's Easter witness. That's his ending. An empty tomb and 3 frightened women and no meeting with the resurrected Christ. What was he thinking? His is a work that most surely needs an Easter sequel. It's so unfinished. I like Mark's ending. The older I get, the more I like it. It's an authentic combination of reality and hope. It speaks to my experience, to where I live. Maybe it also speaks to yours. Life is often a collection of untied loose ends and less than satisfactory conclusions. Not everything we begin comes to a proper or a happy finish. Mark understands. They were afraid. So are we. We're well acquainted with fear. There's a lot in our world which causes us to be afraid, and rightly so. Our hope is often precariously balanced against our apprehension. Doubt and disbelief war with our faith. We struggle to balance them. Mark's account acknowledges that ambiguity. He gives us the freedom, the permission to come to Easter, yes, to come to Easter with our own mixed feelings of joy and disbelief, skepticism, faith, and fear. Fear that it's true and fear that it isn't. The women came to the tomb expecting death. They found life. It terrified and amazed them. We can understand why. Easter is about life and death. Life meeting death, death meeting life. And we can't speak of the one without speaking of the other. In the midst of life, we are in death. Those words are from our committal ritual. And we've experienced too often and too keenly their truth, especially these past few months. We've attended too many memorial services and stood too many times at the graves of those we love. Death, we know. Death is all around us. We're assaulted by it daily. In the midst of life, we are in death. But that's not the last word. Easter doesn't leave us there. In the midst of death, we are in life. Easter offers us a glimpse of another reality. It's one where death doesn't reign. It's one where God's will is done. And God's will is never death. God's will is life. Does God have power over death? Deep in our hearts, that's what we really want to know. That's what we ask. That's the hope that draws us here. Does God have power over death? Is my life, the lives of those I love, safe in God's keeping? In the end, will it truly be all right? Will all the broken things and broken lives get mended? And Easter's answer is unequivocally yes. It's not maybe. It's not possibly. It's not I think so. It's not I hope so. It's yes. Christ is risen. And the power that put him in the grave couldn't hold him there. And it can't hold us either. Not now, not ever. Pastor, trying to sum up Christian faith in 2 words, wrote, life wins. Life wins. Now, I respect this pastor, and I like his theology, and I read his sermons regularly, but I quarrel with this particular answer. It's not life wins. That's not good news. It's God wins. God wins. Easter is God's work. It is God who gives us Easter. It is God who gives us victory now and forever. Yes, Easter is a word about death. And the word is God's in charge. It's also a word about life, and God's in charge there too. And we need to hear that word. We need it when we've been hurt by what's happened or not happened to us. We need it when a friend lets us down. Someone we trusted disappoints us. A diagnosis tells us what we don't want to hear. A relationship doesn't work out as we planned. We need it when our marriage dissolves, when we're alienated from our children, and our lives no longer seem to hold together. We need it when we're trying to make sense of a world that doesn't. And Easter brings us that word. When the women started down the path to that tomb, they didn't know that the stone wouldn't be there. They didn't know that the tomb would be empty. They didn't know that they'd hear good news. Even so, they acted faithfully. They walked down that road, putting one foot in front of the other, and just kept going. And that's often what faith is. It's moving forward in trust without having all the answers. It's keeping at it even when we're struggling and uncertain. It's doing what we need to do because it needs to be done, because it's the loving thing. One writer named it raw faith. He says we go through the motions of faith even when we are uncertain, and there seems to be no evidence to support that faith. And that's what those women did. That's the road they were on that first Easter morning. A road of faith mixed with doubt. And here's the good news. That's where God met them. That's where God meets us. God meets us when we least expect it and we most need Him. And everything is changed in that encounter. Some of you here are walking the road that women walked that morning. You're worried about a friend or a family member. You're praying for their recovery, their health, or their messed up life. Some of you are grieving, and you're still struggling to cope. Some of you are wondering what the future holds. I know that one. Some of you have to make hard decisions. Some of you are looking back over things you've done. You don't like what you see. You wish you'd made different choices. You wonder if you can get past or you can change what is. Some of you are angry. You're angry at yourself or others, even God. Some of you are just going through the motions, trying to pretend it's all right. For some of you, life isn't good or bad. It just is. You'd like something more, but you're not sure what that more might be. And it's into those realities that Easter speaks its word of hope, of power, and love. And it doesn't magically make all our problems go away. And it doesn't diminish the pain or the struggle. It reminds us. It reminds us that it was in the darkness of the tomb that God raised Jesus. That in the darkness of our lives, that God still works to bring light. In fact, God does some of God's best work in the dark. Jesus was born in the dark, and Jesus was raised in the dark. And it brings us comfort. It helps us endure, and it gives us courage.